2.
Hey everyone, welcome back to this week's episode. Today I'm doing something a little different and taking you inside our pantry so you can see how we keep it organized for the most part. And I say most part because there are times throughout the year where we buy more food than we normally need, such as holidays, birthdays, Thanksgiving, etc. But I want to show you the importance of using bins and labels and having a good structure and system in place that can keep your pantry organized throughout the entire year. Some things I do want to point out are the colors of your bins. Those matter because our brains love symmetry and cohesiveness. So when you're choosing your bins, the style, you want to choose them wisely. Some colors that work well and blend nicely together are white, tan, black, and clear. Those are all colors that I love to use when I'm organizing a pantry because they look nice together. You kind of want to think about it as like when you're going out somewhere, if you're getting dressed up. You typically don't always wear all black or all white. You're blending in different colors that look nice together and accessorizing. That's how you kind of want to view your pantry. So let's take a look in here. We're going to walk you through how we do this. So starting here down at the bottom, we've got our white bins. We've got the Backstock down here just because it's the lowest, hardest part to get to in the pantry corner to reach, which is why it's there because we don't use it all the time, but when we need it, we can grab it. Lunch boxes down here and the water bottles. Moving on up, we go up to these water hyacinth bins, which I absolutely love because they have a nice warm tone to them. They can really be used in a lot of different places in the home, but they work great in the pantry. It just give you that like warm, fuzzy feeling when you open it up. We have the breakfast bin, snacks, and bread. And these categories are why these ones were particularly chosen is because they're not in food canisters, and when you use bins like this, it helps kind of conceal a little bit of the clutter because they're not in matching bins or they're harder to keep organized, such as the bread. So and I'd like to keep the categories broad. So for example, here with the breakfast bin, it consists of cereal, oatmeal, granola, and keeping that category broad just minimizes the frustration when you're trying to organize. If you get too specific, it just kind of stops you dead in your tracks. Then slapping on a white bin clip label because we want to tie it in with the white bins that are down there at the bottom and use black ink so it pops a little bit but then blends into the next row of bins that are these black wire bins. Now these bins are actually from Costco. They do not sell them anymore, but I have one that I recommend from the Container Store that I will link to as well. I like using these for produce items because we buy in bulk at Costco, and these are able to fill up and you're able to keep kind of piles of food in there. And then we have this nuts and the dried fruit here. So we kind of make this our quote unquote healthy row. And then we added the white label here so it ties in here to the bottom item. So we're working on that cohesive look and feel. And then we actually added a liner here to help with the like onion peels that fall through so they're not falling through into the other bins to block that out. Moving on up here is the clear bins. I love using clear bins as we work our way up so you can see everything that is there. Clear bins work great for individually snacked items such as these fruit pouches. We've got these individually wrapped snacks and cereal bars. Now it did take this a little step further and have a bin within a bin. But the reason for this kind of madness is that if you have multiple different snacks in one bin, using bins within bins helps keep them neat and organized rather than that kind of shuffle around. It's those smaller things that really make it easy to grab what you need, and it's those smaller seconds and minutes that add up, especially when you're trying to get out the door. Then we move up here to an expandable shelf. I absolutely love expandable shelves because it gives you a great visual, especially for your canned goods, and you can see them, and it just kind of pops when you open up your pantry. Moving over here is our turntable where we use for the condiments, items that we frequently use. And then over here on this side, we've got our little treat bin. It's kind of tucked into the corner a little bit, but I went with this style here just because it blended better than using the square bins down there. Then moving on up to the top row here is where we've got our food canisters. I highly recommend decanting food if you can for a few reasons. One, it allows you to see how much is left. So when you are getting ready to make your shopping list, you have a better idea of what is there and what else you need to get, rather than coming home being like, oh, there was only this much left oatmeal, I should have grabbed more. Been there, done that, and it's super frustrating. These bins also are tall, which is why we put them up here at the top. And you can see that they're either easy to grab. I'm all about making things functional, because if these were on the shelf down here below, they would fit, but you're kind of still finagling your way to get them out. And so they make great use of the space up top there. So, and the other reason why decanting your food is not only so you can see what's left, but again, we're going back to that whole cohesive look and feel, providing symmetry, which our brains love. And we also have the clear bin, which matches down here. And then you've got the white lids, which kind of tie into the rest down there. The last thing that we have in here, and then I usually don't do this, but is keep a bin up here in the corner. That is a solid bin that you can't even see what's in there. And there's a reason behind that. Is if you have kids, you might understand this, is we get those muffin pouches and Ritz crackers. And every time we buy them, they're gone in like a day. So we threw this bin up there and slapped a label on it so they wouldn't see it and so they would last a little bit longer. So it's basically because of our kids that things are hidden up there. So this is the entire overview of how we keep our pantry organized. We have some space out here. If there's things that, like I said before, when those times of year come where we buy more than what we need, it all works itself and it flows nice and evenly. Now, a lot of these bins are on sale right now at the Container Store, so it is the perfect time to finally go get your pantry nice and organized. Thanks for tuning in for this week's episode. If you liked it, can you give us a thumbs up and share it with a friend? This way it gives us feedback on the content and we know more of what to produce. As always, you can find us on social at Organize Marie.